What's up YouTube? This is FJ and I wanted to do a photographer's review of the Vessi men's everyday slip-ons. I have them here, right there. Just want to make sure I give an unbiased opinion after about a month of using it on the field. So guys, I'm a professional photographer. I shoot weddings, bar mitzvahs, events, corporate stuff. And I've been trying these out, trying to see if I can replace my other like workhorse type of shoes that I wear for a lot of my shoots. Generally, you know, I need a pair of shoes that one can pass off as kind of like dress shoes, look a little bit more sleek and dressy, doesn't stand out a lot because I wear all black. I needed something that could support my flat feet for the day, and I needed something comfortable and cushiony enough so that it would be something I could wear for up to 12, 13, 14-hour days sometimes when I'm doing photo shoots or like weddings. So I decided to try out the Vessi men's everyday slip-ons because it's got no laces, so it's a bit more sleek of a look. It's all black, and also because of the waterproofing, this was something kind of like an added bonus feature that I was looking forward to. Because sometimes when we do shoots as a photographer out on the field, like outdoors, if we're on like grass in the morning or it's like kind of dewy, or in the case of this past summer when we did some events in the backyard and it had been raining or pouring, then you have just like puddles everywhere, or like it's wet on the grass. And I wanted to see and put these guys to the test. So to start, guys, I'm going to show you. So it comes in a box. When it arrives, this box, so it's kind of like an unboxing, not really. Not much to it. You can see there, guys, it says the MO8 size men's 8 style slip-on lunar black from Vessi. You get packing slip. You get this greeting card. Comes in like this envelope, this Vessi envelope. Welcome to the Dry Socks Club. And there's the checklist. Sorry, there's a cleaning guide there as well. Cleaning guide from the founders, Vessi 101. You get that card. You get some decals, or you get some stickers as well. And then you get coupon code, I guess, for your next order from Vessi. Okay? So here are the shoes. And right off the bat, guys, so you can see the detailing compared to the website. It's pretty accurate. You've got like this white liner underneath, and it's almost like, I feel like it's probably the maybe like a nylon stretchable white material underneath, the black woven material on top for the sleek look. Okay, I would have preferred personally if that white was gray, dark gray, or maybe just all black. I really don't want any kind of attention going towards the shoe. So I would have preferred if this was all black, or again, if the hexagons in there, if you want to show the kind of detail, a dark gray would have been nice. Over a use of about a month, you could see there, guys, it's kind of developing like some creasing on the toe box. There's a good angle for it to show it right there. That there's creases where your foot would naturally bend when you're taking a step. So that's me exaggerating the bend, and then over time you do get some creases there. In terms of the cushioning, it does come with this insole on each foot. It's okay. It's pretty rubbery, but it is like spongy. I wouldn't call it like a firm rubber that some other insoles might come with that require more, like, I guess, more support. But it's not incredibly soft. It's not that thick either. You guys can see that. It's not that thick, but it is spongy and springy. It's not that soft. So I wouldn't say it's the most comfortable slip-on insole that I have, but it's relatively supportive given even the tread pattern there underneath for the outsole, combined with this relatively firm outsole rubber in the midsole rubber, and this insole, the spongy insole. It's pretty comfortable. Not the most comfortable slip-on that I have, but it provides decent support. Particularly for me, I overpronate. I have flat feet, so I overpronate, and I know that most shoes that I have to get for like performance are better off if I get something with stability or support built into it. So like a more firm rubber on the inner heel side, so that I don't like roll into that when I take the step. So it is a fairly supportive shoe for a flat-footed overpronator. But again, it's not incredibly comfortable. Another thing that they say about this shoe is, despite the fact that it is waterproof, that it is still relatively breathable. In my experience, I didn't really find that. It gets pretty warm in the shoe. I wouldn't say it's, you know, equivalent to something that's completely like sealed off, like vacuum sealed, but it gets definitely warm in the shoe, noticeably warmer than my other like runners, like a running shoe with more of a moisture wicking woven fabric upper as well. I'll show you the comparison. So it gets pretty warm, but there is some form of breathability to that. So I want to show you guys this video that I have. Let's do it with this scene. Okay, so I took this. I did test the waterproofing. I went out to a river, and just to test when it was a rainy day, and this is the experience of me walking into the river with it. So this is the second time I already went in once. So you can see that the water does bead off on the dry section. It starts to bead off on the upper dry section because those weren't really submerged for very long. But I had tested the toe box already, so it was starting to, I'm gonna use the word soak, but it didn't go through the shoe. You'll see other videos like that on YouTube too, where other Vessi reviewers did a similar test, maybe like in a clear tub or something like that, where they can show it to you guys. But they are waterproof. Okay, so even though it did start to soak around the toes, it didn't go through. I did feel the coolness of the water through the fabric. So I mean, in terms of temperature, that you do get that kind of heat transfer. And yeah, I left it in there. This video is 25 seconds, but I did stay in there longer to take a couple photos. Here's the photo that I took too. So again, you see it there, guys. I'll zoom in a little bit. So the fabric, they say that it's the material that they use. I don't think the fabric itself, but maybe the liner underneath, that the material that they use, the pores are small enough that water molecules can't get through, but air can. So I mean, your mileage may vary, but this was after a couple of weeks, at least a few weeks of use already, and then I finally wanted to take the plunge, you know, pun intended, take the plunge and go into the river to see if it was really waterproof. And luckily, I did not wet my socks. Dry Socks Club is legit. They are waterproof, even though they start to soak around here on the toe. I guess if you leave it submerged long enough, it will eventually all soak up the fabric, but again, I don't believe that the water would go through. One thing I did notice when I stepped out, when I got out of the water afterward, so again, hold on here, go back here, again with the fabric of the shoe, as I started walking around and like the fabric was like bending, things like this, I noticed that there were like bubbles forming in like the pores of the fabric. So like, I guess, you know, I mean, it wasn't pure distilled clean water in the river, so I'm guessing that there is some kind of like, I guess, some lathering going on when you start to walk with a wet fabric, just like any kind of wet fabric, I guess, that you do. So, but again, I will attest, they are definitely waterproof, not incredibly breathable, but for some, you know, you do get the coolness that I felt through from the cold water from the river. But again, not as breathable as, let's say, running shoes with dedicated moisture wicking and like ventilation type of designs on the upper woven. So for comparison purposes, guys, I'm going to show you the first shoe that I got as a photographer for like my workhorse shoe, and this was the Ultraboost Laceless. So again, all black. Ultraboost has the super soft cushioning for the midsole. It even has on the inner heel side this little rigger, this little small plastic rigger to provide a little bit more support on the inner heel side. So, you know, if you are an overpronator or flat footer like me, this is still by far the most comfortable slip-on that I have, and still is one of the most comfortable kind of cushion setups that I've ever worn. But they are not, Ultraboost isn't deemed as a support shoe, so they are very soft. Like, they're a little unstable. They don't really provide as much support as a dedicated support design shoe, but these are definitely the most comfortable and the most cooling, because this is prime knit they use on top, which is meant for moisture wicking and ventilation. However, again, because they use like this harder material in here to keep it snug, to keep the shoe tight, not incredibly breathable around that area, but the toe box is nice and cool. One thing though, this is a running shoe, so it is not waterproof. If I step into like dewy grass, wet grass, or in a puddle, I'm gonna this fabric is gonna get wet on top, and then my sock's gonna get wet inside. And also, there is a material, there's a reflective material they used on this, that when a light, if you're running on the street in the dark and a headlight hits the fabric, it will reflect. It reflects really bright, to the point where I'm doing a photo shoot and I have other photographers, so we're both shooting, let's say with flash, and I would see if I was in the photo, if he caught my feet at all in the photo while wearing these shoes, this entire fabric part in the front, except for this centerpiece, but everything else reflected white. Like, it looked like I was wearing slides. Like, it looked like I was wearing white socks with slides. So that was the downside to this shoe. I didn't want to wear this on photo shoots, particularly like events where it's like a wedding, or if, you know, I'm going to be down the aisle, or I'm going to be in the reception and people are taking photos, and let's say they catch me in the photo, I don't want the attention going on a bright pair of shoes like this because of the reflection. So I had to change. So I tried something else, and I switched to these ASICS Gel-Kayano. This is a specific version where it's laceless as well. It's got these kind of loud looking straps. I don't feel like, I really wish they didn't, I don't even think they needed it. It could have just been better without it. I think it would have just had more of a mute look to it. I don't quite recall the exact model of this, guys. I'll put it in the description after I put this video. But yeah, this is designed as a support stability running shoe. I have the same runners with laces, like the fully dedicated runner, so it was more like the, not, rather than this woven fabric, it was more like the mesh with like you know, leather mesh fabrics and stuff and things like that, for like a more traditional running shoe. But I wanted to get the all black for work and the straps. And I will say, because this is dedicated as a support shoe, this harder foam, they use a harder Duramax foam inside on the heel side to prevent overpronation while you're running, and then everything else on the other side, particularly the gel that they use here, is softer, so it's more of a cushioning setup for the midsole. So like tomorrow I'm gonna have a mainly indoor shoot for about 12-13 hours. I believe it's gonna be dry, relatively dry tomorrow. If the weather does show any kind of like rain or precipitation, I may bring the Vessis just in case if I'm going to shoot outdoors, right here. But for the most part, this is what I would wear if I know I just want a really supportive shoe for a very long time. It's a dedicated running shoe, so I know that it's designed for my feet, it's designed for ventilation, breathability. So not waterproof. Again, if you wear this outdoors and it gets wet, this fabric is going to get wet and your sock's going to get wet underneath this. So these are the downfalls of wearing these sleek looking you know, all black woven fabric type of shoes that I want to wear as a professional photographer in a formal event scene. I used to wear actual dress shoes when I worked, but over time I just realized it just wasn't worth you know, just for the look, it wasn't worth the pain and like the discomfort of prolonged hours while working as a photographer. Final thoughts, I would still recommend the Vessi if you're looking for a shoe that's got more of a muted look. Again, it's supportive enough to give you, you know, I've worn this on a 12-13 hour day as well, on a hot summer day. It was also, you know, other days where it was wet and humid, and you know, and rain was an issue. This held up very well. I will continue to wear this shoe in those conditions. In terms of the sleek look, it is the most sleek out of all the other shoes because, one, it doesn't have that reflective material. When flash goes on it, it remains black. Only thing I don't like, again, is the white underneath the liner, like the whatever fabric they used underneath to actually make it waterproof. That should have been dark gray or black. There's really no need for an all black shoe to have any kind of white details. I get it if you are, you know, a fan of maybe this colorway instead, or this colorway. Yeah, the white makes sense because there's a white sole there. But an all black sole, all black fabric, I really wish they just used all black, and they didn't need to use the white detailing in there just for you to see the hexagons. It's sporty enough that you can wear it with something kind of a sporty look. I don't particularly like this look that this guy rocked with the shorts and these shoes. I don't think that really goes, but for my type of attire, I wear sleek looking kind of tech wear, but athletic wear, so I can still bend my knees, I can still move around and be agile and comfortable, maneuverable, moisture wicking, sweat wicking, all that stuff, because it's such a long, tedious day as a photographer. One thing I will try is I'll likely try out and use one of maybe my Ultraboost inserts, or maybe the ASICS insert inside the Vessi, to see if I get better comfort for the day. You know, maybe I'll get slightly less support because this is a bit firmer than other softer foams. Springy and spongy, but I think maybe a better, thicker insole might help with comfort for a longer duration of time. Anyways, guys, thank you. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next one comes out. I hope you found this review helpful. I know it's a little long, but you know, if you have any comments or questions, again, please feel free to share them down below. And this is FJ, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.